everybody, and welcome to the March 2020 episode of Out of the Vault. If you are new to my channel, let me just say welcome. It is a pleasure to have you, and for all of you returning, I'm sure you're all very excited to have another day where we talk about the magic of Disney. And I'm sure you're all even more excited because today we are going to be talking about the newest installment to the Disney Pixar library, the 22nd film Onward, starring Chris Pratt, Tom Holland, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Octavia Spencer. Not to mention that this is a very special year for Pixar because this is one of the two Pixar films that will be coming out in 2020. And even more exciting is the fact that neither of these two Pixar films are sequels to previous ones. So we're getting two fresh, brand spanking new Disney Pixar stories. So Onward is the story of a mythical land that was filled with magic and wonder, and then they realized that things could be done in more simpler ways other than magic, and that involved evolving with the concept of technology. So a fantasy world has now officially turned into a modern-day society, with schools, with cars, with all different kinds of technology, but there are still some people in this world that believe that magic still does exist, and one of them happens to be an elf named Barley, who is heavy into fantasy. Ian, on the other hand, is a sensible, yet not so confident elf who just wants to have a happy life, and one of the things that he knows is missing from his life is the fact that he never knew his father, and he only knows about his father through memories from his brother Barley and his mom. And then on his 16th birthday, his mother tells him and Barley that their father left the two of them something, and when they were both of age, they would be able to use it, and it's a magic staff to bring him back with a special spell for 24 hours. And then something happens, the whole thing gets botched in some crazy way, and Barley and Ian are off on a whirlwind adventure to find the missing key to reignite the staff's magic and get their father back before the spell officially wears off. So that's pretty much the plot. Now, when I first heard about this film coming out, all I could think about was the following. So basically, Disney Pixar is giving me Star-Lord and Spider-Man going on a whirlwind adventure. How could I possibly not be excited for this movie? But there was a lot of skepticism about Onward, specifically because there were many that were saying this does not feel like a Disney Pixar movie. And you know something, everybody? I'm gonna say that that's not necessarily a bad thing. One of the few things that I do know after seeing this movie was not only was it a fantastic, enjoyable film, but the fact that there were points in time where this really did not feel like a Disney movie. It definitely had some Disney elements, like the whole concept of getting their father back, but one of the few things that Disney had not really done up until very recent years was really bring to the forefront the camaraderie of siblings. We obviously got that in the Disney canon with Frozen's Anna and Elsa, but the whole story of two brothers on a mission together to fulfill a quest was just one of the most enjoyable, fun, and funny movies that I ever experienced. It really felt like a buddy comedy, and this movie had so much room for certain jokes, certain dramatic moments, certain overall atmospheric ways to make that movie possibly even PG-13, because these kinds of stories really show up in PG-13 movies. You think about really fun yet over-the-top cheesy movies like 16 Candles, License to Drive, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It felt like one of those kinds of movies, but they still kept it within the PG realm for the sake of making sure that people knew that this was a family film. But it was such a fun ride. All the characters were just such a fun delight to watch. Even Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Octavia Spencer, playing this creature called the Manticore, was without a doubt the unsung heroine of this film. She got all the comedy moments perfect, and I just had so many belly laughs when she opened her mouth. Everybody else played their roles beautifully, but I loved how Tom Holland and Chris Pratt played off each other beautifully. They really felt to me like they were true brothers. I also loved the soundtrack, which is a great score by the Dana brothers. Jeff Dana is actually one who gave us the Boondock Saints theme, which is without a doubt one of the best themes for any film. And I loved the animation. I loved all the references to fantasy, to even a little bit of science fiction. Dungeons and Dragons fans, everybody, are going to love this movie to death because of some of the things that are talked about in this movie. And I also really loved the story. It was heartfelt, it was funny, it had some very emotional moments, and it just felt very cool. That's what I really liked about this one, because, look, I've gone to see every Pixar film in theaters, and I've really had a good time with each of them, for better or for worse. But there was just something different about this specific film. I mean, look, The Incredibles and The Incredibles 2 are definitely two of the best films that Pixar had to offer, but Onward, while it's not extremely perfect, it still is one of the most freshest and definitely one of the most enjoyable Pixar films I've ever seen. And I also really appreciated the ending of this film because it wasn't exactly what everybody thought it was going to be, yet there definitely are some people that probably would have found the ending predictable, but I personally appreciated this little twist of a touch at the very end, and I really appreciated the whole concept that went throughout the film. It's about just appreciating family. That's what it really is, no matter how weird or crazy your family members may be. Because believe me, if you do not have family members that you just don't seem to understand, get embarrassed by, then you truly don't have a true, wonderful, loving family. And believe me, I have a large family. Even though I'm only one of 3 siblings, I see my extended family, I go to see my in-laws, and my wife's entire extended family, and believe me, there is craziness, but there is so much love. And that's one of the great things that you get from Onward, just the love and appreciation of family. This is definitely a movie that is worthy seeing in theaters. It is definitely one of Pixar's most enjoyable and most fun. You're just going to have such a great time with this movie. It is definitely one that I plan to rewatch many times. It is also definitely one that I want to get in my DVD collection because I just had a great time. My anticipations were high, and even though I had a feeling it wasn't going to be the perfect Pixar film, my expectations, at least for me, were definitely met. Which is why I'm going to be giving Onward a very deserving 3.5 stars out of 4. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please leave your comments in the box below, and let's discuss Onward. And I'm more excited about sitting down with you guys later on in the summer where we talk about the newest offering from Pixar, because I think it's going to be just as fun. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.